Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
If you're wondering about what you can do if you find yourself in an FCPA compliance action, check out the FCPA Survival Guide. It's my latest book. It's sponsored by Ethico, and in it, I take up and write the top 10 things you can do to reduce your overall fine and penalty if you find yourself in an FCPA enforcement action. So check out the FCPA Survival Guide. The Daily Compliance News for February 11, 2025, the Pause in FCPA Enforcement Edition. And we begin with that story from the Wall Street Journal, the politics section. Dave Michaels reporting that Donald Trump has put the brakes on laws that forbids U.S. companies from engaging in bribery and corruption outside the United States. Yes, the FCPA, as on Monday, Donald Trump signed an executive order claiming that the FCPA has been used to punish overseas misconduct, and that he directs the Justice Department to stop doing so, wants revised and reasonable enforcement guidelines that won't hamper U.S. firms from competing abroad. Wow. So we'll see what the executive order says and what the DOJ says. Next up, from Bloomberg, U.S. companies are complaining that ESG rules in the EU are a serious barrier to trade. I wonder if this complaint was made before or after Donald Trump slapped 25% tariffs on literally every country in the world. So it's going to be interesting to see what the response from the EU to U.S. companies whining is. Next, from Reuters, AI washing and what lawyers need to know to stay ethical. What should a company advise a potential client about using neural networks with machine learning algorithms? It's going to be interesting as the fear of missing out is something that is great. So what will law firms do? What will they say about AI washing, and how will they advise clients? And finally, from the New York Times, a very provocative title is, quote, "Alarmed employers ask, what is illegal DEI?" End quote. So think about that a moment, because we still have Title VII on the books, which prohibits discrimination based on a wide variety of categories: race, religion, color, national origin. And now, is that DEI? If you follow that law, are you engaging in illegal DEI? Of course, the administration has said nothing about this, even whether they're going to continue to enforce Title VII. Nevertheless, an open question that a company must navigate. At the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up, or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.